I'm not nervous, I'm just figuring out how I'm gonna say this. My name is Mikisha Ismail. I'm an interior designer and a real estate broker and a real estate investor as well. Southeast 67 is a super small, I think it's 778 square feet, so under 800 square foot cottage built in 1915. I'm sure it was one of the original homes in that area. I don't know how expansive that would be, but most of the houses around that property were built in the 1950s, so it just leads me to believe that that house was like one of the original houses there. So it's old as dirt, baby. And it's hard to deal with. We have electrical issues. I copped that house. How did I cop that house? Well, it's part of my team. We have a little team structure where we evaluate properties that are coming on for auction foreclosure. Like a lot of them, they could be listed as like pre-foreclosure to start, and then eventually those properties make their way into like actual foreclosure and then to auction, like an auction sale. And so my tiny little team, what we do is we kind of wait, and there's a structure for it being listed and driving the properties and taking pictures and all of that, and that's all internal within my team. And we kind of have this crazy list of opportunity of scooping up one of these auction foreclosure properties. And so I just keep my eyes peeled weekly to see if there's an opportunity that kind of fits what I'm trying to do. And I'd say what I'm trying to do is I like restoration, and I love older homes, and I love the challenge of trying to figure out how to restore them. So I kind of been focused on the southeast side, and I love that side. And I've done a flip on my own out in southeast during the pandemic, which was intense, but I got through it, and it was a really cool process. And so when I saw that house on the list, I'm like, oh, this would be a fun, unique opportunity to kind of like hone in on that. Like, I love restoration and I love older homes. This one's a little hella old and really, like I said, it's giving me a run for my money, but I like will walk up to the challenge. So yeah, it's a tiny little house, Southeast 67, built in 1915, smaller than age, and I'm gonna try to keep it classic and restore it, like truly restore the home as much as I possibly can within my budget, obviously, and to the point where it's affordable for someone to purchase it and enjoy the process of the restoration, because it's not for everyone. It's very unique and niche, but I think that there's a good amount of people who will appreciate the home not being torn down and rather it being restored. So yeah, I got it off an auction foreclosure list. We scoop them up, and I told them I wanted that one, and so we worked on getting it for me, and I was able to get it. And so I'm managing the project predominantly on this one, but I'm excited about it, even though I'm stressed out. I would say the easiest part of this process thus far was me saying that I want it, and then I got it, and now I have it. But in order to get into it, it was occupied, and we did get in contact with the people that claimed to have been living there, and that they had a rental agreement, and we were to see that, and we would figure. Basically, the first step, I would say, after acquisition is finding out if the property is occupied. If the property is occupied, then you try to work with the occupant to figure out what's their situation. Usually, like, if you have a squatter, that's a really tough thing to deal with. Like, I don't even know how much I'm allowed to even say about that whole situation, but if there are tenants or they had an agreement, a rental agreement with the owner, the previous owner of the property, then our goal is to honor that and work with them, and we're not just trying to shove people out, but the main goal is to like restore that home and put it back on the market. At that point, it's like my responsibility. So I would like to amicably get the person onto the next step of their life. And I love helping people and figuring that out, but you know, the people that are in there are usually under duress. Like it's just not as simple as it coming out of my mouth right now. So that particular situation, there were people in there. I encountered them one time. We tried to work with them, made multiple phone calls, set up meetings, a handful of meetings with them, but they wouldn't show. And eventually get to the point where, you know, there are some steps, and like I said, some of it's like, yeah, I can only say so much, but we were able to find a pocket of time where we can enter the home and rekey and kind of hem it up and lock it down so that we can start ripping out all of the crazy crap that's in there. So we were able to get in. We were able to get in and rekey, and that's like step number one is actual possession of the home, like getting to the actual possession of the home. So with a lot of these homes, and just, you know, regular homes, people accumulate things like most of the time. And so this house was packed to the brim with garbage and clothes and rotten food and just all kinds of crazy madness, just accumulation for I don't know how long. And so once we got possession, we opened up the doors and there was just shit everywhere. Like, am I allowed to just bleep that out? But there was stuff everywhere. And once you're in the door, you can evaluate how much stuff is in there, but just know immediately you have to order a dumpster. And so main goal, get dumpster on site, or if you like, in this case, we have a dumpster, like it's a truck, a dump truck with a lift on it, or with the, listen, I don't know that word, but whatever. So that made it really nice when we were able to start right away. We didn't have a dumpster sitting out front, which it's not the best look, but the goal is to get the dumpster out, get as much in there and have them pick it up, and then keep going until all of the stuff, it's just stuff, it's just crap. Once all that crap is out, then you can really start to evaluate, you know, what your project is looking like. But it's really just getting a dumpster there. And it was disgusting. Like, and I hazmated up and I schlepped shit. That's what I did. I did it for one day. My scope is changing on a daily basis, I'll tell you that. But it was kind of cool coming into the 1915 home and seeing that, like, there was a lot of original. It was just original. There was the hardwood floors, original hardwood floors, original backsplash tile that was in really good condition that I wish we could salvage. But once we start like meticulously taking out little pieces in the area, like the base cabinet, like stuff was getting broken, tile was getting broken, so we ended up we will end up ripping that out. But the original cabinets that are custom and beautiful and tall and in really great condition, still, that was there as well. And I don't know, there's a lot of character that's still in this tiny little house. And so my main goal is to restore that, just to shine it up and make it beautiful again and make it shine again. And then obviously where I need to put in new stuff, I will, so that it enhances, you know, the original home. So right now, and thank goodness, I'm able to restore the original floors, which I haven't really I haven't had the opportunity to do it on one of my own projects yet. And so I'm really excited about that. Like I haven't had an opportunity to restore original oak, like thin plank, beautiful, like little hardwood. Like it's gonna be great. So I want to do that, restore that. I will be putting in new windows because Multnomah County ain't playing when it comes to efficiency and stuff like that. So we're really working hard to figure out the whole window situation. The house is so small that there's only like minor shifts with the layout, and it really has to do with like the stairwell and the access to the attic, which is the second bedroom, and making that actually feel like a legitimate second attic bedroom, which will probably be like an art studio or someone's office or a kid's space, which that would be cool for a kid's space. So the ceiling heights are tall, which is great and unusual. And for the most part, the living room's open. There's a back bedroom. There's also, we opened up a little bit. We opened up a doorway a little bit more so that it felt more like an entrance into the kitchen versus just a door, which there, at some point there was a door there. It wasn't there when we got there, but we wanted to create a cased opening so that felt like an entrance into this little kitchen. And then there's a mudroom on the back, and to the left of that there's a bathroom that is shared by the bedroom on the other side and the mudroom. So there's multiple access to that one bathroom that's in the home. My goal is to touch every surface in the house. Not only does it need to be touched because it's disgustingly dirty, we just want to shine it up and make it pretty again and make it glow. And so, we're gonna remud the sheetrock that's there. And might I add, this house is lap and plaster, so keeping the original layout is like key, because it's lap and plaster and no one wants to deal with that. So anyway, we're gonna retexture the walls, paint. We're doing all new baseboard because it wasn't existing in the main room. The baseboard the bedroom does have baseboard and has some funky, weird, nasty looking texture in there. So we're gonna smooth that out and retexture everything, repaint everything. We've sanded all the doors, which are 6-panel doors, which are super beautiful. Like it's just, and they're solid. Like you just can't get that. So we're gonna restore the doors because there's areas that need bonding and like reshaping and touching up and stuff like that. So we're gonna do that, and all new hardware, new hinges, new light fixtures. We're gonna put a new heating system in one day when we can get the electrical going. The people that were in there, they had tapped into the electricity somehow, and Portland General Electric shut it down. And so I have to go through the process of restoring power to that property, and it's another thing that I've never dealt with. And so that's kind of been a feat, but thank God my contractor has a generator because he's still working in there and we're figuring it out. But right now I'm really considering having all of the electrical updated, and I think that would be a massive perk to whatever buyer comes in to know that 1915 electrical system that was originally in there, in conjunction with some of the newer stuff, just all of that to be kind of like cleaned up is my goal. Obviously that's going to depend on the budget, but my goal is to really restore all of the electrical. There's so much to do that can be done to this property, and I'm just touching the surface. So that would be a nice large project off someone else's plate so that they can think about other things, like the entire basement that has full head height and is in great condition, and we're cleaning up some of the rats that are dead down there. We're cleaning that up so that that essentially can be a space that can be utilized, another room. It can be built out. There's plumbing and drainage and all of that down there, so someone can really finish that out while living comfortably in a beautiful, restored, tiny little house. Also, the lot is huge, and there's a back alley that runs behind the home all the way on the other side. So really, someone could put an ADU. This could be a total like income property. There's so many things that can be done to this home while I'm focusing on the home that's existing and restoring that. There's so much potential. So right now my main goal is to just really focus on the year that the home was built and restoring it to the 1915 home that it was, with like a contemporary, updated, classic touch, and obviously a touch of like curator cozy and mixed studio vibes up there. So listen, I don't even know. I feel like I'm still learning, honestly, and I feel like every single project that I do, there's some hiccup that is completely different than anything I've ever experienced before. I do feel a lot more confident in the fact that, I don't want to just like speak freely of confidence, honestly, but I do feel like I know that it's going to be hitting the fan, and so I'm more prepared emotionally for that. Like, I just know, I wouldn't say that I have this like newfound expert, like, I don't even know how to describe this. Every project is different, and there's always something that pops up, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do about that? Like, honestly, like, I have to do research, I have to ask 1,000 people. I just don't know. I've never experienced it before. It's the confidence in knowing that I will figure it out. There have been times where I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna figure this out or not, but I do feel like I can figure it out. And yeah, you win some, you lose some, which is a life lesson that I'm learning even outside of this flip stuff right now. But I'll figure it out, and it'll be a lesson, and I think there's value in that, even if it's not like monetary at the moment. It will be a good lesson later on. So I think just going into it knowing that things are going to hit the fan, and that I just need to tighten up my planning process. I'm just constantly trying to tailor my planning process, because the one thing I do know, I love design, and I love the challenge of space planning, and I love working with people. I love working with my contractors, and I love being on site. Like, I love construction, watching something that literally is like a giant turd turn into something really beautiful, and then something attainable for people to live in that I can help them buy and have a good quality of life. Super dope. Like, that's, I don't know shit about shit. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Okay. Honestly, I feel like I'll get more confident, but you know, the rules and the regulations and the laws and the processes, I don't know, they change. So, and I have to be adaptable. Like, they change, a lot of stuff changes even annually. So I can't be like, I know how to do this. Like, I know what I'm capable of doing, and I know how to research stuff and work through problems, and I think that's probably where my confidence in this kind of comes from, and will continue to grow in this super fun flipping space. So do it, start, honestly, like, get your bag in order, know how much you can extend yourself out, and then like jump in and kind of do it. Like, obviously there's so much, like, there's a good amount of prep work, right? And first of all, actually, you could just hit me up, because I'll help you find the house, baby. I will help you plan it, do the scope, figure out where you need to get dough, like, niche, baby, niche. But no, I would say figure out your bag, figure out like financially what you're capable of doing. That always shifts too. I'm like, yeah, I thought I was gonna spend like 70 grand on this project and then it turned into 100. Figure out your bag, figure out what your financial capacity is, figure out who your contractors are, figure out what type of renovation that you can handle, if it's cosmetic only, if it's restoration, if it's new construction, whatever. There's like, I can't even touch on all of them. Like, I'm still learning some of the different types of projects that I can take on. But just do as much research as you can about your personal capacity, and then find out who your people are gonna be, because with all of those, like contractors, electricians, whatever, all your little contractors, your support system and your dough, you can figure it out. Like, as long as you have people that have your back and you know what your financial capacity is and know what your capacity is, you can learn from other people and make it a little team thing. And so that, I mean, I wish I could say that it took more, but it's like, you kind of just need to feel strong enough to go through the trenches and walk the hot coal when you need to walk the hot coal, because you will have to walk the hot coal if you want that bag. Follow me at Mikisha Ismail, YouTube, baby.